Welcome to Pilates for Longevity by Be Well My Body. My name is Shannon Hirschman. I'm the founder of Be Well My Body. And thank you so much for joining me on the mat today. I have one class to convince you of the importance of this work and why you must have it in your life. I believe in it so much and I'm passionate about it. So challenge accepted. All right, one thing I want to make sure that you understand is what fascia is. So fascia is connective tissue that surrounds all of our muscles, the bones, the organs, and when we move, the fascia should be gliding freely. As we age, hormones, perimenopause, menopause, they start to change the tissue. So we start to become more stiff and you start to feel older as we age, which is not very fun, right? The other thing is a lot of us in our culture, we aren't really moving in big ranges of motion where we're twisting and bending, kind of like we used to do as a kid, just moving in these large ranges. And so our body naturally stiffens over time. When the tissue in our body starts to stiffen, it can literally pull the bones closer together. So you have more joint compression, you have less shock absorption, and our body just doesn't feel as good. And not to mention emotions, there's actual receptors in the fascia that hold on to emotions. So a lot of stress, anger, guilt, shame, all of that stuff gets stuck in our bodies, and there's many ways to release it, but one of the best ways is through movement. So we're going to make the biggest impact in one class, be focused on more of this full body fascia freedom today. We do have a lot of strength work as well in our membership, but in order to make the biggest impact, we're going to go more fascia based and opening up the body. That's going to be our goal today. One thing I want to encourage you is to get in touch with your body, get in tune. How do you feel before and how do you feel after? And just kind of take note of what you're experiencing, what you're feeling as you're going through class, and I'm going to help guide you through it. So let's get started. All right, we're gonna start with something called pendiculation. So what I want you to do is literally just stretch and move into the nooks and crannies of your body. Wherever you can move, I want you to start to become aware of where you're feeling a pull in the tissue. Where do you start to feel tight? No right or wrong. You're literally exploring your body and noticing what you're feeling in it. Maybe you still do this to this day. We definitely did it when we were younger. And if you watch cats and dogs, when they wake up, they stretch. And when you are sleeping overnight, your fascia literally gets tighter. We're going to start to roll down a little bit and start to move your body in just different interesting ways. And so when we sleep overnight, because we're lack of movement, the tissue starts to get tighter. So that's why we are stiff in the morning. And then also you don't have the opportunity to drink water overnight. So our tissue tightens. So that's why we usually feel the most stiff in the morning. That's when people have the most plantar fascia pain if you have plantar fasciitis. Let's take a little calf stretch, speaking of which. So a lot of our aches and pains can be felt first thing in the morning because your tissue is tight. And so we just need to bring some movement, some love back into the tissue to help open things up. Okay, so take a little neck stretch. A lot of us get tight along the front of the neck. Are you tighter on one side in the front here? Along the side. See about the back of the neck. We hold so much tension in our shoulders oftentimes, and we don't give our neck and shoulders enough love sometimes. Okay, and then let's take a roll down and see how your spine feels. There's a fascial net that connects from the forehead. It wraps all the way around the back of your body under the soles of your feet. So this is why when you tuck your chin, we're going to roll down. You'll feel it running down the back of the body. Now, depending on where you're tight, some of you are going to feel it in the spine, others in the hamstrings, others in the calves, maybe your feet. And you can do some alternating knee bends. If you can't reach the floor, no problem. Just go ahead and keep your hands on your legs here. And you're just getting a sense, again, for how does your body feel? And then we'll do a comparison at the end of class as well. Okay, but now let's go ahead and take it down to the mat. Okay, the next thing I want you to learn is what is the state of your fascia in your calves. So many people are tight in your calves, so let's check it out. You're gonna take your leg, turn it, and then place it all the way up at the back of the knee of the other leg, and then you're gonna start to move from left to right. You're taking the calf muscles and gliding them from side to side. Start to slowly work your way down to the heel. And if you're like, this feels pretty good, I feel totally fine, you can add more weight. So you can lean back and then do the same thing with the body weight. You, in a perfect world, should be able to put your entire body weight on the calf muscles and it feel like no problem. If it hurts or hurts a lot, that tells you have a lot of fascial adhesions. So there's a lot of muscles that are stuck to other muscles, and you need to spend some time opening that up. Remember, because when the tissues are really tight, they start to pull the joints closer together. So when the calves are tight, it can pull the ankles closer together, it can pull the knee joint closer together, and then it can start to create some issues, plantar fasciitis, all of that stuff as well. Okay, and then, so that hopefully that gives you an idea of how your calves are, and then we'll switch to the other side. This whole class was developed because I'm a retired dancer, Pilates instructor, and also fascial stretch therapist. And I just started seeing the same patterns of people being tight here and there, and then people were not able to do things like their deep squat, and huge ranges of motion were being lost as we age. And when the body starts to become less mobile, we have more aches and pains, and we just don't feel the same. We feel restricted in our movement, and sometimes that can impact what we can do in our lives. So I just wanted to create something that can keep you moving well and you can do the stuff that you love, hopefully pain-free as we age. That's the goal. Now, if you had one calf tighter than the other, you want to make sure that you are doing some release work on that tighter calf at a 2-to-1 ratio to help restore the body. Once it feels pretty symmetrical from side to side, then you can go back to a 1-to-1 ratio. But that should give you an idea of how that's feeling. And don't forget, you could always just stay up on the hands. Some people are like, you might be totally sensitive to this, so light pressure might be just perfect for you. Okay, the next thing I want to open up is the toes. Okay, so you can tuck your toes here and start to sit back on your feet. If that is plenty for you, just stay there. Otherwise, if you feel like you can do more, you're going to sit back and put full body weight. I'm going to adjust the pinky toe to get all my toes in there. When we lose our ability to bend the toes, other joints have to make up for the lack of range of motion for what may be lacking in the toes. So that would maybe go to the ankle or the knee or the hip. The body finds ways to compensate when we start to lose range of motion. Restore that range of motion, restore your movement, and we feel good. Okay, go ahead and come out of there. You can give your feet a little bit of a shake. Okay, then I want you to take your one leg, and then if you're able to, you're gonna sit all the way back, okay? What I want you to do is use your body weight to push into this stretch, right? So try to anchor the heel down and then use your body weight to press into the leg. From there, you're going to very gently, very carefully move the knee from pinky toe to big toe. Always initiate some of these movements slowly to see how your nervous system is going to respond. So if you're very tight, you could be in a fight or flight state. And so we just want to make sure we ease into movement to reassure your nervous system that it's safe. And then you can also assess for what you can handle today. So really, really listen to your body. That's really important. Okay, great. And then you're going to come back out of that. And then we're going to do that one more time. We're going to lean into it. Keep this heel driving down into the floor and then bring this knee over the toe. Back in the day, people would say, don't bring your knee over your toe. In real life scenarios, if you're sitting on low toilets, if you're going to go to into a deep squat, if you're climbing, you need that range of motion for the knee to go over the toe. You can wiggle from side to side. But it's also important that you build strength in those end ranges, which we also do in the program, so that you can maintain it. The most important thing is to have a balance between active range of motion and passive. Passive is just you relaxing and stretching. Active is you're more active and your ability to hold it. Go ahead and relax, and then we'll switch to the other side. In physical therapy, that's what they want to see too. What is your passive range of motion with your active? Do you have strength and mobility so you can be more pain-free, less injuries are likely to happen? Okay, so I'm on the other side. You're going to go ahead and try to drive the heel down, knee is forward, and I'm using my body weight to add some leverage into it. And then I feel a pretty incredible calf stretch, and then I'm going to wiggle from side to side. more than I usually do. So this tells me I need to go back and do some calf release work with like a foam roller. One of my favorite ones is to put a tennis ball on top of a yoga block and dig into there and just start to find fascial adhesions and start to open that up. Good, and then come out of that. We're gonna do that one more time. Okay, leaning forward into the stretch. Try to keep the heel anchored down, and then you wiggle the knee from side to side. Very nice, good. And then go ahead and come out of there. All right, the next thing I do want to open up is the hands, right? Because we're on the computer, we're driving, we're just always in a closed hand position. So what you're gonna try to do is turn your fingertips to face you as much as you can. It's totally fine if your fingertips have to face outward. Now, from here, all you're gonna do is try to bend your elbows. Now, your elbows may barely bend, which is absolutely fine. Just go to where you can go. And then start to wiggle the elbows from side to side. So now the wiggling, what that does is helps to create different fascial patterns to unlock any fascial adhesions. So instead of just staying very linear, we want to bend and twist and move in different ways like our bodies are intended to do. So even though this is just like, oh, I'm wiggling my elbows, what is this doing? It's doing a lot. Okay. Shake your hands out for a second. Now we're going to do our palm peel-aways. So you're going to bend your elbows as much as you can, even if they barely bend. Then you start to peel the palm away from the floor so that you're getting a stretch through the fingers in the hand and maybe the forearm. The knuckles stay connected on the ground. From there, you can slowly peel. The finger pads stay down. The thumbs can come off, and then you restack and reset. And then we're going to repeat that again. All right, so you start to peel the palm away. You first see how low you can go with the fingers down. Once you feel like you can't go any further, then you can continue on and stretch. Most people are tighter through their dominant hand, right? Because we're writing and things like that. So if you feel some tightness, even just into one finger, I would go back and do some release work up that line, because usually you just follow that same line where it's tight. You go in there, dig it, feel where you're tight, and then when you repeat it, you should feel less of that stretch in that one particular finger, if that makes sense. So that's what I'm talking about, is when you're moving into these large ranges of motion, it very quickly tells you where there's fascial adhesions. It gives you feedback so you can go back and fix it. And again, today is a lot of this opening, stretchy type fascia work, but we do have a lot of strengthening work in the membership as well. But in order to create the biggest impact, we got to do this stuff so you can feel it. Okay, give it a good shake. All right. I see a lot of people who have lost their range of motion in their wrist, so we're going to do another exercise. One of the most important things too, if we fall, especially it's wintertime here as I'm recording this in Chicago, I think it's like 3 degrees outside. If you slip on the ice and fall, and we all go to catch ourselves with the hand. If your hand is not flexible and doesn't have a lot of shock absorption, that's how people break and sprain their wrists. But if you have that mobility through the hand and the strength, like some of the exercises that we do, you'll be able to fall, hopefully knock on wood that you don't. But when you do, you're better able to handle something like that. Okay, so the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take your thumbs, you're gonna lock your fingers in. All right, so from there, you're gonna start to come up, and you may not be able to straighten your elbows all the way, but don't worry about it. Just go to where you can go. And the reason I want the thumbs to buckle the fingers in, because there's something called the fascia nut. You can keep going all the way through. There's something that is called the back arm net. So you can feel it. If you release the fingers, it takes tension out of the tissue here. When you close the fingers, it becomes harder all of a sudden. And that's because just the fingertips are part of the fascial line. And by tucking them in, we're taking them to its maximum stretch. And if you repeat this often enough, you can start to open this up and restore your flexibility through your wrists. It's going to open up the space in the wrists and keep those arms and hands pliable, which is great. And then we'll just do 2 more. All right, next thing I want to get to is the shoulders. We lose a lot of range of motion as we age with the shoulders. Also, if you yourself or you've had a friend that's had frozen shoulder, a lot of times it happens around menopause because of changing hormones and the tissue. So keep this open, keep it free. All right, so you're gonna start with your arms out. This is kind of like a little yoga pose. Knees are a little bit wider, about mat width apart, hips are up. You're gonna start to lower your chest down. Now, a lot of people get stuck and they feel some stuff behind the shoulder. Widen your hands for now. As the tissue starts to open up, you'll become more free. There's a bunch of different stretches to help that if you feel like you're getting stuck in the shoulder, rotator cuff, pec stretch, there's a lot of things that come into play with that. But for now, just do your best. If you're able to do shoulder width apart, go for it. And we're trying to lower the chest. Now, this is definitely breaking some Pilates rules and going kind of more on the yoga end of things where your chest is dropping down to the floor. And then what we're going to do is I want you to re-stack with kind of more Pilates-based alignment. So you're bringing your spine into a neutral spine. But when you do that, this is important, watch this. The shoulder blade, I want you to imagine the shoulder blade is wrapping around the sides of your rib cage. So watch this really quick. So I'm going from an arched back, thoracic extension. I wrap the shoulder blades around the body, and then I come up into more of a Pilates-based alignment. Hopefully I'm in a straight line. If you have a mirror where you are, you can always check yourself out. So we're just gonna literally go back and forth between these two things. Now this would be an example of combining a little bit more of active and passive range of motion. So we're going into your stretch, which is a passive stretch, and then I'm asking you to be active as you press down into the floor and bring your body up. Some of you will feel the work through the arms and the shoulders as we do this. Just go ahead and continue on. And if you feel it in one particular spot more than the other, that tells you most likely that's where your fascial adhesions are in that particular area that you're feeling it. So what would you do? You would go back, do some release work, some foam rolling, come back, repeat it, and it's most likely going to feel better. We're going to do a couple more here. Good, and then just one more. We're gonna do a 10-second hold. Let's hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Okay, come out of that for a second. Wrist push-ups. So let's do a little bit of the strengthening because we did some stretching with the wrist. So you're going to try to lift the palm of the hand up and back down. Okay, we're gonna try to go for 15. Make sure you don't cheat by leaning back. You wanna stay up and over the hand. Good, 10 more. So this is our kind of the meat and potatoes. This is an example of like how we are combining strength and stretch into exercises within this class. Of course, I lost count, so let's see. I'm sure we have a few more. So we're stretching the muscle, but then we're asking it to work within the stretch. And that's how you really do a great job of like gaining your flexibility. Okay, and then shake it out. All right, hopefully that was about 15. I talk and then I lose count. Okay, very good. All right, so let's start with a nice kneeling position here. You're gonna walk this foot forward so it's a little bit more in front of you, and you're gonna drop down into a hip flexor stretch. And then we're gonna come back out. Just a couple of that just to open up, assess, see how you feel. Depending on where you're tight, again, everyone is different. Some of you are gonna feel this at the front of the back hip, maybe the inner thigh, the groin area. Some of you might be tight where you feel it in the hamstring and glute. And again, that is feedback to tell you where there are fascial adhesions in the body. If you don't feel much of anything, you feel it globally, good. Okay, very good. Next thing, reorganize your body. So you're gonna find nice alignment. When you think tall, make sure you don't think this, where you start to arch the body and then create compression in other areas. We wanna feel like the rib cage is settling in and it's flush with the rest of the body. Hold on to something nearby, wall, a piece of furniture, something. This front leg, you're gonna try to lift it as high as you can off the floor and then back down. Okay, so here we are yet again, combining our flexibility and strength. Are you able to lift this leg above 90? No worries if it doesn't come up as high. Just do the best you can. And as you get stronger and more flexible, guess what? You're going to gain height. And actually, speaking of which, some of my clients have actually gotten taller. So it is one of the reasons why we get shorter as we age is like twofold. Posture, like if you're just holding yourself in a shorter position, the body kind of morphs in that position over time. But also as the tissue gets tighter, it pulls the bones closer together and you can lose height. But it can be restored. It can be restored. So if you're doing a lot of fascial release work, in addition to that strength work, which is so important, and you're working on your alignment, you can regain that height. Don't we love that? Counteract the effects of aging. We're becoming so wise in how to take care of our bodies. Okay, all right, let's switch to the other side. All right, so you're gonna step your foot out. From there, start to, again, be easy about it. Just assess always on the first one how your body is feeling, especially if you're brand new to this work. If you take a lot of yoga classes and things like that, you might be totally fine. And then you're gonna start to come back. Psoas represents so much. And not only just, in energy work, it can be things like, are you following your life's passion? How are you moving forward in life? Like it can represent things. We get so tight through our hips, through our psoas. There's a lot of things that can be caught up in that psoas. Pregnancy can do that too. It can really make a psoas become tight if you don't release it after giving birth, things like that. Okay, I digress. All right, let's move into leg lifts. Lift it up as high as you can. The beautiful thing about this, in the kneeling position, it really prevents you from tucking the pelvis like you might do when you're standing. So it kind of isolates it in a beautiful way. You really can't hide with this one. You stay tall and lift it up. Good. Do a couple more. And this is connecting, this is all connected. So this side is also, the height of this depends on how flexible this is. This is a whole line. So if you're definitely tighter through here, it's gonna feel like it's a struggle to lift up the leg, but again, you can start to open that up, no problem. Okay, great, we're gonna come up to standing now. Okay, the next thing I wanna do is start to open up the hips in a big way. So you're gonna set yourself up so that you're parallel, and you're gonna go over to one side, track your knee over top your foot. My spine is long, so try not to round your back. So chest out, tailbone out just a little bit. Hands can go to your thighs or to the floor, or no hands at all. It's gonna give you more work and more strength as you do this one. And you're gonna alternate from side to side. Try to get pretty low. We wanna challenge your joints. Obviously don't go so far that you feel like you lose control, but we wanna push them to their end range where it's a little bit of a struggle, but manageable. A little bit of burn is good. So once again, here we are, yet again, to strengthen and mobilize. So we're getting the flexibility, we're getting the strengthening, we're combining it into one, and it gives you direct feedback. Hey, where are you tight? Is it inner thighs? Is it hamstring line? Is it quad? If you feel pulling at the knee, that's gonna tell me your quads are tight. So I would go back and foam roll your quads. Release that. We're gonna do a 10-second hold here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch to the other side. Lower and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, so this leg fatigued way sooner than the other one. So that definitely tells me that this thigh has some release work I need to do, because when you're tighter with one muscle group than the other, and it fatigues much faster, that's how you know that there's some tightness there that needs to be released. So if you're in an exercise class and you're burning on one side but not so much the other, that's a cue to do release work on that side. Okay, the next thing I want to do is a deep squat. Okay, all right, so this can be challenging. So what I would suggest is, I'm gonna do this with no props, but you might need to grab a couple yoga blocks or a low bench or a chair. Be creative with what you have around the house and so that you can sit on it if you need to. Okay, so what you're gonna try to do is have your feet about mat width apart, and we're gonna drop down into a deep squat here. So this is a natural human movement. In many cultures around the world, people sit like this. You were once able to do this as a toddler, and maybe you can still do it, which is fantastic. Love that. If you're struggling with this, this is something I want you to get back, because this is just such a simple but powerful move to keep your joints both strong and flexible. So you can experiment with this. A 2 to 5 minute hold would be a wonderful thing to start to open up the connective tissue at the lower back. We're not gonna hold it for that long today, but of course you can always pause the video if you want. But sometimes, and some of you might actually be able to feel literally the moment the tissue in the low back starts to open up. You can feel it softening. So if you're in tune with your body, you might notice that. Okay, so from here, you're gonna reach the elbow down to the floor, and then you're gonna take a twist. Now, if you can't actually touch the floor, don't worry about it. Just reach it somewhere down to the floor. Just do your best, and then go ahead and turn. This is one of the best exercises, I'm telling you, to open up the body and maintain your ability to twist through the spine. I think we'll do like 2 more. The goal is like 5 to 6 of these. If you're just incredibly tight through the low back, that can all be reversed. It can. You're gonna go ahead and switch to the other side, and then you're gonna twist. And again, take note if one side is tighter than the other. So that tells you you could do some foam rolling, some release work through the side that you're having trouble turning to would be the side that you would want to spend a little bit more time releasing. Okay, so 5 or 6, probably did extra. All right, from there, you're gonna lift up onto your tiptoes. Okay, going into that toe stretch. Maintaining the mobility in the ankles and the toes. We're gonna do 10 of these. Okay, give me 5 more for 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 and rest. Ugh, okay, come out of there, get some blood flow. Okay, speaking of twisting, all right, so we're gonna go ahead into a twist from here. You're gonna thread underneath. You can choose to stay there, or if you wanna make it more intense, you can bend the bottom arm, stack the hand, press down, and spiral. Take a deep breath here in the twist, and exhale. You'll notice, when you take that deep breath, the tissue expands. I like to think of a blowfish or a bullfrog. The tissue starts to expand to help unlock even more range of motion. Then, guess what? You can wiggle your hips side to side. There's gonna be that one side you go to where you feel an extra little twist and pull. And that's where we start to unlock the fascia in different ways of bending and twisting. Go ahead and switch to the other side. You can start with just the basic twist, or you can bend that bottom arm, take that top arm, stack the hands, spiral. Take a couple deep breaths. When you do take the deep breath, notice where you feel the stretch. How does it compare to the other side? And then start to wiggle the hips. And again here, could you wiggle more on the other side than this side? So start to become aware of the restrictions in our body and how to restore that. Okay, go ahead and come out of that. All right, we're gonna place our hands behind us. Okay, I want you to lift, well, first sink. Give me some terrible posture here. Let the shoulders ride up to the ears, and then you're gonna lift up and lift the chest and expand all the way up to the ceiling. Now, if your fingertips can't face front, go ahead and turn them to the side. Try to open up the chest and the pecs here. And then just open, 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 open. Okay, sit cross-legged, and from there, round your spine. And let's open the arms back, open the fingertips, reach, 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 and round the spine. And open. One more, and round. Good, and open. All right, go slow. See how you feel. Fingertips face forward or sideways, totally fine. Start to lift your hips up. Open up the chest. So you might feel like you want to drop like this. You're going to really press into the floor, expand the chest up to the ceiling, and then lower back down. Depending on where you're tight, you might feel it in the biceps, in the front of the shoulder, the chest. And again, that gives you feedback of where you're starting to get restrictions in the body. So start to lift that all the way up. Just go whatever height is fine. Even if you're only going up halfway, just go to your end range. I always like to take an extra little breath at the top too, just to get the tissue to expand. And then we'll do one more. Good. Okay. Reach the legs out in front of you. And then just take a forward fold. Okay, from here, you're just going to start to turn your head from side to side. Good, and then roll up to release. Let's come up to kneeling. One of the tightest areas that people will feel restrictions is in the side body. So we're gonna start with this exercise before we take it up to a standing. All right, so go ahead and take your fingers. You're gonna interlace them with a steeple grip, index finger up. You're gonna take your arms all the way up. So I want your arms, if you can, as far back as you can. If this is too much, you can also do a grip like this as well, or even on top of your head. Just experiment with what works. You could even do arms like this if you need to. Okay, from there, you're going to lengthen up. Allow your shoulder blades to shrug, totally fine. Make sure your knees are not too narrow, so open them up a little bit. Lift up like you're a little Pez dispenser, lifting your ribs off of your pelvis, side bend over as far as you can go, and then bring yourself back up. And again, lift up and side bend and bring yourself up. Good, and again, lift. So you'll feel all of that, whether you're tight in the back or the front here or all over. Hopefully you notice and feel it. So once again here, again, we are trying to close that gap between the active and passive range of motion. So you're stretching in your end range, and then you have to use the strength of your body to bring it back up. Okay, other side. So 8 to 10 is good. So you lift up, shrug the shoulders, feel tall. Okay, and this side immediately I can tell is easier here, right? So then I would know exactly what to do. So if I was tighter on one side, you would want to do some foam rolling release work on your tighter side, depending on where you were feeling it the most. And then go back, see if it feels better, more open, more free, and do another round of this exercise on your tighter side. So we're using that feedback from the exercises in order to understand how to self-care for the body, to prevent injuries, to restore alignment and mobility and strength too, because when the tissue is tight, this will be your last one. Hopefully that was 8 to 10. So when the tissue is tight, it can't function as good as it can be. So when you release it, the full length of the muscle starts to return, and then it becomes more powerful. It's like you got to charge the cell phone fully, you know, and to get the most out of it, longer usage, right? Okay, let's come up to standing. Okay, we're gonna combine, we just did some work in the kneeling position for the side body. We're gonna combine it and kind of merge it with a couple things that we did earlier. So earlier, we did one of the larger lunges. And now what you're gonna do is you're gonna spring from this lunge position up and over to the door or to a wall that you have in the house. You have to figure out about how far away from the wall you need to be. Then you're gonna try to lift this leg as high as you possibly can. and you want to try to be as flat as a pancake. So make sure you're not three-dimensional this way, try to become like a flat straight line. All right, so take a deep lunge. From here, you're gonna squat. You can pitch your body forward a little bit, spring off of it, grab onto the wall, lift this leg as high as you can, and repeat. Come down and push off. And this is also some balance work too. We do balance and bone density work in the classes as well, but today's purpose for this class was to basically try to open up your body as much as you can so you feel the difference of how great it feels to open up the body and how important it is to stay free, and also to give you an idea of where you are tight and some of the things that you can do to help open that up as well. Good, let's do one more. Okay, from here, you're gonna try to close the leg. This is hard. Parallel bottom foot, so make sure this foot's parallel. You're going to lengthen and reach that foot down to the floor and then kick it back up. So here we are again, strengthening and stretching in our end ranges. Okay, and then using the power behind that to activate the muscle. I think of this work as like going to the Emerald City. The scarecrow gets new straw, the Tin Man gets buffed. It's just, I don't know. I believe in this work so much. It's so good. Okay, let's switch to the other side. Okay, so find basically your distance from the wall that you need to be. And then you're gonna take a lunge, spring off, lift that leg. And again. This is fun too. Hopefully it feels like you're just playing. Because, right, we don't always like to work out. So some of this stuff can bring the fun back into it. And it's hard. It's really hard too. We're gonna do one more after this. This is also good for the hand, shoulder flexibility, all of this stuff. All right, you're gonna stay here. Close, I'm tighter on the side. Okay, and lift and close. Okay, also be aware, the tighter side most likely is gonna have compensation patterns. So try your best to kind of like double check. Am I in a straight line? Am I twisting and turning? So often the body comes out of alignment in exercises because the tight muscles are orienting you in space because you have proprioceptors in your fascia that tell you where you are in space. So a lot of times when people get stretched, it takes them a little bit to integrate where are they in space now because their proprioception has changed. Good, and rest. Okay, very good. Okay, taking it back into the mat, I do want to go into a cobra and some twisted planks. This is great because it'll start to set you up for bending and twisting and moving in nonlinear ways. So you're going to start to lower your hips down into a cobra. Feel free to go to your forearms if you need to. So when we're able to stay flexible and mobile in different twisting type and bending patterns, it sets you up for like if you were going to go twist and grab something out of the backseat of the car or pick something up in a weird position. So you're less likely to tweak your back. Okay, from here, what we're gonna do, shake out your wrists if you need to. We're gonna do a twisted plank. So your hands are gonna set up underneath your shoulders. You're going to first go into a plank. You step one foot through. Try to think about keeping your shoulders square, and you're gonna lower your hips down. Feel the stretch, re-engage to come back to your plank. Good, and we're gonna go up to 10, 2, and up. 3, and up. 4. So this is a great way to challenge the tissue of your body to put it in a kind of a weird twisted pattern and then ask it to work, to be strong in that pattern. And 10, rest. Okay, shake it out. So hopefully that makes sense. So just moving, strengthening in different patterns can set your body up for success. Okay, we have the other side. So you're up on your hands again. into your plank. Step the other foot through. Try to stay square through the shoulder blades. You're gonna lower your hips into a dip. Feet are kind of wherever they need to be, and you come up into a plank. Good, up to 10. Go slowly, listen to your body. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Whew, rest. Okay, shake it out. All right, we're gonna finish with our pendiculation one more time to compare before and after. All right, we're gonna finish the way we got started with pendiculation, which is that stretch yawn. Remember, there's no right or wrong. You're just moving into the little nooks and crannies. Hopefully you're feeling a little less stiff. You're feeling less tugging and pulling on the joints. That's our main goal today. Again, within the membership, we have strength work. We have balance and bone density work. But today I just wanted to give you that idea of opening up the body in a variety of different ways to basically, I only have one class to make the biggest impact. So that's what we went with today. And hopefully you can feel the difference in your body as well. Let's take that forward fold and just see how it feels down to the floor. You can alternate some knee bends. The main props that you're gonna need will be your mat. Yoga blocks are always helpful, and then a variety of weights. You can do the workouts without weights, but I do recommend getting them because as we age, we lose bone density and muscle mass. So it's really important to maintain that. So weights are a nice part of the program as well. One wonderful feature is our online community. So you're able to connect with other Pilates for Longevity members. You can share your wins, your challenges, your struggles, and I'm also there as well. So I can offer guidance and support if you have any questions. Feel free to reach out to me as well. And if you're just loving the work, you're loving how this makes you feel, just know, and also, by the way, if you felt really stiff in class today and you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? Just know that your body will respond and you'll start to open up. You'll start to feel better. And there's always modifications that are offered, so you can progress as you go along and you're going to notice the difference in your body. A lot of members say within just a couple of weeks, they're feeling the difference. They feel like their body has been upgraded. I had one member said, and literally our newest member, Tammy, she messaged me the other day and she said, or she posted in the community that it just been 2 days and she felt the difference in her body after just 2 days. So it's incredible work and I would love for you to be a part of it. So feel free to join me every week. You can go to my website, bewellmybody.com, sign up for Pilates for Longevity, and I'll see you on the mat. Be well.